the Lyceum Virtual Studio. Today, we are going to take a journey through a writer's mind to see why a writer selects a particular word and what he or she is trying to tell us through that selection. But first, let us take a look at three paintings. We have painting number 1, painting number 2, and painting number 3. All three paintings are of ballerinas, but the brush strokes, the colors, the features are all different from one to another. This is because every artist has his or her own unique style, just as writers do. And what helps writers create that unique style is writer's craft. Writer's craft is how a writer uses words, phrases, and clauses to create a particular effect. And what helps writers achieve this is word choice, sounds and dialogue, sentence structure, and text structure. If we were to take a closer look at each of these features of writing, word choice basically refers to how and why an author uses a particular word. For example, think, if I use the word angry and say, I am feeling angry, it doesn't tell the readers or the listeners as to how angry I am. Am I very angry? Am I slightly angry? They wouldn't know. But if I were to say, I am fuming, the word fuming expresses a clearer idea as to how angry I am. That is what we mean by word choice, selecting particular words for a particular effect. The second is sound and dialogue. I'm sure most of you have read at least one comic, and you have seen the crashes and booms that you see in comics. All of these are sound effects. Similar to that, another feature we use is dialogue. Writers tend to use dialogues, especially in fiction writing, because they help break away the monotony and boredom writing would create if they weren't there. At the same time, dialogues help create an intimate relationship between the reader and the character. Thirdly, we have sentence structure. Just imagine if I had come here and delivered this presentation in the same tone of voice without any variation at all. Most of you would be sleeping halfway through. It is that variation in voice that helps keep you all interested and engaged in this video. But writers don't have that ability. What they do is they vary their sentences, they vary their tone, and such things help create a more interesting piece of writing that helps the readers be engaged in what they read. A fourth is text structure. That is how we use our headings, subheadings, paragraphs, again to keep our readers entertained and engrossed in what we want to say. Out of all of these, what we are going to look at closely is word choice. This is because in our syllabus, in paper 2, we have a question where we have to give the meaning and effect of a selected group of words. And what we need to know there is why an author selects specific words purposely to bring across a particular idea. Under word craft, children, we have certain attributes again that we need to focus on. First and foremost, we have figurative language, followed by word choice, vivid verbs, and imagery, and lastly, details. Figurative language is when we try to say something indirectly, rather than telling a person is lazy or very slow in their work. If I were to tell that my brother is a hedgehog, or that my brother is a tortoise rather, what I mean is he is either slow or that he is lazy. Both of these terms create an image of who my brother is. They give the reader a better idea, and it is easier to picture my brother whom you have never met. On the other hand, word choice is similar to my previous example. Just imagine, I see a burning building far off and I decide to rush towards it. So when I talk about my rushing towards it, I say I raced towards the burning building. Now why didn't I just simply say I went towards it? Because the word raced creates a sense of urgency that went doesn't. So raced is a better choice of words in that context. That's where word choice plays. Now let us look at vivid verbs. Vivid verbs are using very detailed verbs. As you know, verbs are words that describe actions or speak of actions. So when we want to talk of actions, if we use the same old dreary verbs, it doesn't tell us how the character is feeling or what impact the action is creating. If I were to say, Jilini told me that she was hungry while the lesson was going on, the word told doesn't exactly tell us how Jilini is feeling, or it doesn't tell us about the context in which it was told very clearly. But if I were to say, Jilini whispered to me that she was hungry while the lesson was going on, then we know that she is trying to be secretive, that it is something that the teacher should not hear, and that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it either. So the word whispered tells us a lot more than the word told. And that's why these verbs are important. Imagery and details go hand in hand in creating a better, a clearer idea in the reader's mind. Just imagine if I describe a sunset and just say that it was beautiful. How is it beautiful? In what way? The reader wouldn't know. Rather, if I describe the colors, the hues, the reds, oranges and yellows, it helps the reader create a better image in their minds. So children, writing is hard work and a lot of effort goes towards it. And that's what we are meant to analyze in the last question. Just think children, if we were to have a meaning and effect question using this paragraph, here we have how the author is neglected by Mr. Peterson, whom he is visiting, when they visit Mr. Peterson's aviary. This is because Mr. Peterson loves his birds, and as soon as he goes there, he forgets all about the author. So here, when they ask you to write the meaning and the effect of the highlighted words, the meaning is basically that Mr. Peterson neglected the writer, or that he basically forgot that the writer is present with him. And the effect is to show how much Mr. Peterson loves his birds, or how engrossed he is with them. So this is what is expected of you in that last question of the paper. Taking a closer look at this, there are instances where we have to give the meaning of literal words. At the same time, there are instances where we have to give the meaning of figurative words. Literal words are when we take the meaning of the words as they are, when they don't hint at something else. On the other hand, figurative language is when it is symbolic, when the idea is not clearly stated, but when we have to infer the idea, when we have to guess or arrive at the meaning. Just think children, someone says that it was raining so hard that the umbrella wasn't enough. It basically means that the person was drenched because there was a torrential rain. Someone else says that it was raining cats and dogs and that the umbrella was not enough. So this does not mean that cats and dogs were falling out of the sky. It basically means it was raining heavily. So the meaning of this second sentence is that it was raining heavily. And an author would use this just to convey how bad the weather was. And that's the effect. So what you have to remember is, there are certain instances where writers use literal meanings, and there are instances where writers use figurative language. So it is up to us as students, or it is up to you rather as students, to understand what the writer is trying to say through his or her choice of words. I hope it was clear. Now let us take a look at a past paper question. Here we have the 2018 May-June paper, and we have the sentence, "The closed door of a parent's bedroom creaked open ominously," which has been taken from this particular paragraph. Now, if we were to give the meaning of this sentence, it basically means that the bedroom door opened slowly but in a very scary way. What effect do these words create, or does this sentence create in the reader's mind? Just imagine that you were in a film hall and you were watching a horror movie where a door opens slowly and slowly with very suspenseful music playing in the background. How would we feel? Wouldn't we feel very scared for the character? That is the effect that the writer is trying to create here. He is trying to get the readers to feel scared of the girl that is being mentioned in this story, or rather it is to show how scared the child was, or what a difficult situation the girl was in. So all of these come under effect, and this is what you have to do in your question paper. That is, understand the meaning of the words as they appear in the passage and write them down, and then think. Put yourself in the character's shoes and think, or the writer's shoes rather, and think why he or she would use these particular words. And then you write that as the effect. It is not that hard, children, and I hope you will be able to ace this question very easily.